Fans are furious with Taylor Swift, and not just because she hyped the life of a showgirl as a showstopper and underdelivered. They're angry because somewhere along the way, they say she's gone from feminist icon to MAGA mean girl. She's gone from relatable to unreachable and from poetic to just plain profitable. But that's not even the main reason people are over it. And the main reason, it's actually something that we should all be done with. Let's get into it.
Show me life, show me love.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Behind the Headlines. I'm Ashley Bornancin, and today we're breaking down the growing backlash against Taylor Swift, why some fans are calling her a trad wife and others a greedy genius. But before we get started, join the beekeepers, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and introduce yourself in the comments. This story is actually a really important, powerful conversation about fame, power, and greed. But of course, that's not where it started. It started the way everything does online these days: loud, divisive, and missing the point, because the internet completely lost it over a woman saying she wants to have a family. Yeah, that's where this whole firestorm started. The outrage over the internet calling Taylor Swift a wannabe MAGA, and they're completely missing the conversation we actually need to have.
I want to have your white babies, and I actually want our entire neighborhood to be racially homogenous.
That was actually a 6-minute diatribe, and this all started over a lyric in the song Wish List, where Taylor Swift says, "Have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you." That single line launched 1,000 think pieces accusing her of promoting trad wife culture, that retro 1950s barefoot and pregnant aesthetic repackaged as feminine energy. But here's the context people are skipping. Taylor has never been politically conservative. And of course, our world likes to take celebrities and they like to slap on a political label and say, see, now she's MAGA, now she's liberal. It's like sometimes people are just making music and we don't have to slap a political label on them. I don't know why we live in a world, but we do, where people seem to think that every single piece of art, every single statement that is made needs to turn political, including, creating a Gene campaign and making it seem like we're supporting neo-Nazi fascists, and then taking lyrics to a lyricist who has been making songs for over a decade, over 20 years actually, explaining how much she wants love, explaining Romeo, take me somewhere only we can go, I just want to get married. But no, now that she's saying, oh my gosh, I found my love, and now that I want to get married to my fiance, this is a bad thing. It's so stupid. It is so ignorant that people are now slapping Taylor Swift with this MAGA label, because Taylor Swift has continuously over the years aligned herself with the Democratic Party. We saw that in her documentary Americana, where she's going up against Donald Trump. We saw it when she endorsed Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 2020, and again last year in 2024 when she endorsed the Harris ticket. So no, she hasn't joined the MAGA crowd. She wrote a love song. And what's fascinating is how quickly we turn women's personal lyrics into political litmus tests. It says more about our exhaustion with idolizing celebrities than it does about her politics, when in fact wanting to find your soulmate, wanting to get married and start a family and get away from all the loud noise is actually something many of us here want in America. In fact, I'll go so far as to say the majority of people want. She's used her platform to encourage voter registration. She's consistently aligned herself with progressive causes. So when people accuse her of becoming a conservative symbol, it's not really about politics, it's about projection. Because right now, we're in a moment where women are exhausted. They're redefining what they want, and they don't need everyone chiming in on that, whether you want to be in the C-suite, whether you want to have a family, whether you want to be stay at home, or whether you do want to be a cat lady. And a lot of people are finding, what is happening? Like, the internet has become way too woke. And I'm not talking about liberal and conservative. I'm talking about woke. And Bill Maher calls this out all the time, where he says woke is a completely different, radical mindset where someone like Taylor Swift can say, I want a couple babies, got the whole block looking like you. That literally is just her saying, I want some babies. I want little kids that look like you. Every person who's ever wanted a child has said that. Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so cute to have a little baby that looks like me or a little baby that looks like my husband? This is not Taylor Swift promoting neo-Nazi fascism, and it's insane that the internet has taken it this far, so much to the point where people are just like ready to sign off, ready to close the book on the internet and say, you know what? I think I'm good. I think we're good. Why are we like feeding into this cultural destruction right now that's taking out people who want something most people want, which is a love, something more than a career, and maybe a family? It's not that crazy. And some people aren't being quiet about how ridiculous this is.
Taylor Swift's new album is proof positive that normal people are winning the culture war and that we're getting away from the freakazoid stuff that we have believed to be normal for the last little bit. Because this woman is being clowned on for this album being too right-wing or too MAGA, as well as some of the questionable lyrics, despite the fact that she didn't really say anything all that insane. Most of the hate is primarily coming from 3 songs. Wishlist, a song about how being a bad bitch is a lifestyle that she doesn't want and instead wants to have kids.
Which, by the way, I have heard this from so many women. So many women have talked to me that are now in their 30s that say, you know what, the more I work, the less I want to work. I'm not saying women shouldn't belong at the workplace, but I'm saying that a lot of people, whether they're men, whether they're women, they're realizing their job isn't everything. Making money isn't everything. And actually would be really nice to kind of settle down. Like once you've done all the things, you're kind of like, okay, I understand how to keep growing my career, how to keep growing my dreams. But a part of that dream is having a family, is getting married, is finding the love of my life.
With her masculine husband who she loves and adores. Wood, a song about how she didn't believe in love or marriage until she met a man who could give her good wood. Canceled, a song about how she prefers her friends canceled because they're more fun and people are too sensitive anyway. Are all just normal opinions that people should have. Newsflash, people, women being women and wanting to be married to masculine men is not a crazy concept.
It is not a crazy concept, but to some people, it truly is.
I want to have your white babies, and I actually want our entire neighborhood to be racially homogenous. She went through this entire thing with Trump, right? About how she and her fan base did not like being called childless cat ladies. And now calling y'all childless cat ladies.
When did Taylor call anyone a childless cat lady? And when did she say she never wanted love? What do you think she's been telling us for 20 years?
Either the life of a showgirl is one big racist, homophobic dog whistle, or everyone has lost their absolute minds. Currently singing about your new fiance is endorsing eugenics now, and the song Cancelled is a MAGA anthem. The Hamlet character Ophelia a happy ending instead of a tragic one is an endorsement of the patriarchy. The song Opalate is a white supremacist anthem for I don't know why. And it's also homophobic too. And also racist while we're at it. The question is a dog whistle really a dog whistle if only the offended party can hear it?
The offended party is honestly not even exhausting, it's destructive because it's doing exactly what all of us have been preaching, which is it is dividing us more than it is uniting us. And you can't blame any particular candidate or any particular president for doing that if you continue to put out rhetoric on the internet saying that someone like Taylor Swift is promoting homophobic, neo-Nazi fascism. It's absolutely insane and it is destructive. And you are just as bad if you are doing this because you are using these celebrities and these songs to promote your own political agenda, which is absolutely insane. And what you're doing is you're making just the average person who's not even, again, aligned with like one or the other, you're making them so annoyed beyond belief. It's actually pushing them further from what you believe than what you intended. And again, wanting to get married, wanting to have a family is not that crazy. So you can't blame someone who's been telling you for 20 years this is what she wanted to do, that she's finally now doing it. Now, what's really interesting is the reality show on Netflix, Love is Blind, the last season that just dropped, I found fascinating. I think everyone should watch it as a cultural study because almost every woman on this show is saying, and they live in Denver, Colorado, which is very liberal. They said, I want a man who takes care of me. I want someone to be head of the household. I want someone who wants to be a provider. I want someone who's not just going to be easy to boss around. And it's not because they're giving up on their independence. It's because they're tired. They're tired of being everything for everyone. They're tired of being the breadwinner, the caretaker, the girl boss, the therapist, the problem solver. And when Taylor, one of the most ambitious self-made women alive, releases a song about wanting rest and partnership and working together to build a beautiful life, people freak out because it touches a nerve. Because the truth is, wanting to be cared for does not make you regressive. It makes you human. Whether you dream of running a company or raising a family or both, you deserve to exist without apology. And maybe that's what's really happening here. People aren't reacting to her politics. They're reacting to their own exhaustion. If you want a show to watch, I think you really should watch this latest season, because it's kind of like a sociology study right now, with contestant after contestant saying that women are tired of being told to hustle harder, to nurture perfectly, and never age. And whether you want to be a CEO, boss lady, or a badass stay-at-home mom, just let women be. Ambition and rest aren't opposites. They're survival strategies. This whole slapping the MAGA anthem tradwife label onto Taylor Swift is not only ignorant, but it's so off, it's so distracting to the conversation we actually need to talk about, and that is the obsession with money and the obsession with greed. And that has been the core principle and the core conversation that her fans, her genuine fans of like years and years and years, the actual Swifties that know way more about Taylor Swift than I do, are really upset about. And that is a conversation worth having. For example, before The Life of a Showgirl even dropped, Taylor released 24 different album variants, unique vinyl covers, alternate covers, and exclusive acoustic bonus tracks scattered across different editions. So what used to feel like a love letter to fans continues to feel like a marketing spreadsheet. According to Euronews and She Finds, fans have been flooding X with frustration, calling the rollout shamelessly greedy, anti-art, and exhausting. And one viral post said, I can't with her greed anymore. Haven't you got enough of our money yet? And that sentiment isn't just coming from the trolls, it's coming from loyal Swifties who are starting to feel used. The TikToks we should actually be listening to are the fans who are calling out this greed and saying enough is enough.
She's disconnected from the very people who are supporting her, who are buying all these. God, if I see one more variant of this album or one more special 24 hours only acoustics, stop selling things. If you want to create art and you want to have art out in the world, you've done it. You have the largest fan base in the world. You don't need to keep doing this. It's like a freaking machine.
And to me, it's not only selfish, but it's playing and toying with the very people who made you famous. You are constantly exploiting this parasocial relationship you have with them to what? To squeeze out more money, from the single mom whose daughter is going to school and she's saying, Mom, I didn't get this like acoustic version. I want the Taylor Swift voice memo. And the mom's like, well, I only have like $10 more in the budget this month. I was gonna take you to the movies, but let me buy this like 12th version of your CD, of your vinyl. Let's get matching sweaters because my daughter needs to compete with everyone on the block. This is no offense to any parent who's like experiencing this right now. It's unfortunate that this has become the role model for women. And I'm not saying there aren't certain elements about Taylor Swift that aren't good role model tendencies, but this obsession with selling the same version of like 20 different things, this is disgusting. It is selfish and it is greedy. And this is the exact thing that is feeding into our obsession, our culture for consumerism that is making people broke, lonely, depressed, might I go so far as to say suicidal, and truly feeling like they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the means to compete. This creator points out that it's not only Taylor's obsession with greed and money, but it's also the obsession with beating out every single artist by playing dirty.
No, Taylor. No. You're not still doing this. Girl, you have billions with a B and an S, like multiple billions of dollars, and yet you're still throwing out new variations of the album every fucking day. and lying to us saying, oh, the acoustic version, we saved the best for the finale. This is it. Except it's not it. You're still giving us more and more. And now 10 hours only. Oh, because you need to try and beat Adele's record for the most albums sold in the first week, and the end of the first week ends in about, 10 hours from when you posted this. So it's a money grab. It's not a money, I mean, it is a money grab, but it's also like I need to win. I need to beat Adele. And so I need to try and sell more albums. So I'll just throw random albums out there with voice notes to get people to buy them. It's so gross and absurd, and just like the FOMO tactics and the Taylor.
And it's not just consumers who are calling this out, it's also artists. Billie Eilish, who rarely comments on other artists, called out the industry for, quote, selling the same record over and over again just to boost chart numbers, labeling the practice as wasteful and irritating. Now, she didn't name Taylor, but she didn't need to because everyone knew who she was talking about. And the irony is, in 2020, when her former label released Live from Clear Channel Stripped 2008 without her permission, Taylor herself called it, quote, shameless greed in the time of coronavirus. Now fans are asking what changed. Maybe it's business, maybe it's control, maybe after years of her fighting for her masters, she's finally the one in charge, and she's learning exactly how profitable the machine can be, because apparently $1 billion isn't enough. But here's the problem: when the art feels secondary to the sales strategy, you're losing the same people who made you who you were. You're losing your customers. It's like buying a novel and getting to the final page and then discovering the author sold 5 different alternative endings, each in a different book. It's not clever, it's exhausting, it's annoying, and it very clearly is about greed. In a year when inflation's climbing and layoffs are everywhere, but probably even more so, people are worried about AI replacing them. Like, AI has come in very hot this year, very fast, very strong, taking out Fortune 500 companies, taking out so many people, going so far as to take out actors, like the one thing that you would think couldn't be replaced because it's a human face. Now a billionaire artist sells 24 collectible versions. This is not empowering, it's out of touch. Even Teen Vogue questioned this very outright in the public, saying, quote, multiple album covers, capitalistic greed, or pop girl pressure. Maybe it's both, because this isn't just a Taylor Swift issue, it's an industry issue. She's doing exactly what the system rewards, maximizing engagement, loyalty, and emotional spending. But when your own fans start sounding like your critics, that's not just backlash, that is complete burnout. People are feeling like consumers instead of community, and maybe that's why this hits so hard, because when Taylor floods the market with vinyl variants, AI influencers and digital actresses are taking over Hollywood. Take Tilly Norwood, one of the first AI actors signed by a production company this year, already being used to audition for human roles. We are living in a scary time right now when the lines between real and fake are blurring faster than ever. So maybe fans aren't just angry about Taylor being rich. Maybe they're mourning what she used to represent to some extent, which was authenticity. When the world feels increasingly synthetic, plastic, vinyl, we crave something real, real voices, real stories, and real people. And that's the irony in all of this, because Taylor Swift built her empire on being relatable, and now the closer she gets to perfection, the less human she feels. But not every artist is cashing in on this chaos. In fact, some of the biggest names in music are quietly doing the opposite right now, proving that you can still build empires without turning your fans into walking wallets. Because while Taylor Swift is out here selling 24 different album variants and matching vinyl color palettes, others are reminding us that integrity still has currency. Adele, one of my favorite artists, is among them. Adele says one record, one album. Adele has never played the gimmick game. She doesn't flood the market, drop secret deluxe editions, or chase chart hacks. Every release, 21, 25, 30, is a singular story, one voice, one version. In an interview with Time, she actually said she'd rather, quote, sell fewer albums that actually mean something than manipulate the charts. And when she delayed her album 25 from streaming platforms for months, she wasn't chasing scarcity. She was protecting the ritual of listening. See, she trusts her audience's patience. She doesn't sell different covers, she sells connection. That's what staying power looks like. Ed Sheeran is also an artist who chooses substance over strategy. His entire discography could be a masterclass in consistency. Each album in his Mathematics series marks a life chapter, not a marketing campaign. No deluxe confusion, no overpriced collectible covers. He even fought his label in 2023 to keep Subtracts, his album rollout, simple, telling Rolling Stone, quote, "I'd rather people remember the songs than the vinyl cover." And people did. Subtract became his most introspective, stripped down record yet. While others are playing algorithm roulette, Ed's still playing guitar, and it's working. Even Beyonce has a horse in this race because her Renaissance and Cowboy Carter eras were global events, but not chaotic cash grabs. Each album had limited physical formats, carefully curated visuals, and thematic precision. Instead of flooding the market, she builds cultural moments. Renaissance wasn't a rollout, it was a revelation. And Cowboy Carter wasn't a product line, it was a reclamation of history. As Billboard wrote earlier this year, quote, "Beyonce's genius isn't in saturation, it's in selectivity. She doesn't need a dozen covers, she is the cover." And then, of course, there's Lana Del Rey. She's an incredible anti-algorithm artist. While everyone else is optimizing for attention, she still writes for endurance. Her albums, like Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard, are long, slow, introspective. There's one version, one sound, one truth. She doesn't flood timelines or chase TikTok trends. Her fans don't scroll for her, they sit with her. Pitchfork called her, quote, "a defined anomaly in a culture addicted to speed." And I think the difference we're seeing here is artists who create experiences versus artists who create exhaustion. As a content creator, I also see this in the content space where you constantly feel like if you're not posting every single second, if you're not going live every day, if you're not talking about every single topic, you are behind. And then I pause for a minute and say, do I want to just put out slop? Do I want people to watch hours and hours just because I'm talking? Or do I want to put out high quality content that creates a cultural conversation and aligns with my bigger mission, which is to put purpose back into pop culture? Because the real power move isn't flooding the market for the real artists out there. It's knowing when not to. It's the quiet confidence of saying, I don't need to make 24 editions to make history. And that's the irony. The artists who end up slowing down are the ones who end up lasting longer. Adele, Billie, Ed, Beyonce, Lana, all of them are playing the long game. They're not chasing the noise. They're cultivating a legacy. So when Taylor Swift is dropping dozens of collectible variants, it's a statement that she's making of the artist she wants to be and the kind of world she's creating around her. And fans are finally waking up to this. It took 2025 to wake up with the boom of TikTok the last 5 years, and fans finally saying how they really feel and feeling empowered to do so. Because I think for a long time, people, especially around the entertainment industry, felt like they couldn't speak up. And I found this myself working in the entertainment industry for so long, also working in news. You find that you have to play the game. The reason that these outlets don't call out certain things is because they need an in with the artist. So if they call out, oh, Taylor Swift is greedy and her fans are upset, if the Hollywood Reporter reports on that, or Variety, or whoever you see, do you think Taylor is going to give them an exclusive, or is she going to go to Rolling Stone? To swing us back around, Taylor Swift is not MAGA and she's not a villain, but she is a perfect mirror for this cultural fatigue, the capitalism of attention, the monetization of emotion. Because as long as we are buying into this agenda, we are all complicit. We built her pedestal, streamed her empire, and now resent the view from the top. So maybe the question isn't, is Taylor greedy? Maybe it's, why do we keep forgiving greed when it's all wrapped up in glitter and girl boss quotes? What do we do when the world keeps selling us this mission of more stuff, more success, more everything? Because here's the truth. The deeper you dive into this culture of consumption, the more you realize how gross it actually feels. Everything is buy this, collect this, you need this to be relevant. And if this has felt like it has hit you on a deeper, almost like spiritual level, it's because it is right now, because we are dealing with good and evil. The money is not evil, but the love of money and the insane, what feels like to many of you, gross desire for more. It doesn't feel good because it's not supposed to feel good, because we're supposed to live in the world, but not of the world. We can use money to create a beautiful life, to serve others, but to continuously feed our own ego and to serve ourselves. That's why it feels gross, because that's not what we're called to do. And maybe this is a challenge right now, because when the entire world is screaming for us to buy, I need you to pause for a moment and to say, Why? Why am I buying this? Is this filling me or is it distracting in me? Am I investing in something that lasts or am I just feeding a habit that never ends? Because instead of buying, I want to challenge you to start investing, not just in our businesses or our portfolios, but in what's actually going to have the biggest impact on our lives, our family, our peace. There's this verse in Matthew 19:24 that always humbles me. It says, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And that's not saying don't be successful. It's saying don't let success separate you from your soul. Because if you're chasing wealth so hard that you lose your compassion, your integrity, your stillness, your desire to serve, you've already traded in the most valuable thing you have. Luke 12:15 says, quote, watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. That line cuts through all the noise because the world around us keeps telling us you need more, but God keeps whispering, you already have enough. And honestly, that's where peace lives, not in the next purchase, not in the next launch or milestone, but in the quiet, steady confidence that you're already equipped for what's next. When you see the industry chasing money like meaning, or when the internet tells you to monetize every ounce of yourself, remember, you don't have to play that game. Be in the world, not of it. Stay awake, stay grateful, and invest in the things that can't be sold: your faith, your family, your purpose, and your peace, because everything else, it'll eventually fade. So what do you think? Has Taylor Swift crossed a line? Do you think she's become a MAGA mean girl? Or has she just fallen prey to the system that has churned her into someone who is chasing fame, power, and greed? But more importantly, what are you going to do about it in this culture? Not just with Taylor Swift's album, but with the culture at large in the entertainment industry and beyond. Let me know in the comments if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of great content coming your way. We're going to have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe even Saturday sometimes. I also love your feedback. I love your tips, your questions, the stories you want to talk about. So definitely drop your thoughts in the comments if you're new here and you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button, join the Beekeepers. Thank you so much for joining us, for being a part of the Beekeepers. We are just getting started. We're building out our community. I'm gonna have a lot more fun things for you guys coming out. If you can, take Saturday or Sunday, turn off your phone, get outside, enjoy the crickets, like enjoy the peace and quiet. I've been taking a Sabbath as usually my Saturday or Sunday, and it feels so good to just shut off for 24 hours. I promise you, we will see you back on the channel on Monday. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.
Show me life, show me love.